Yo, what's up guys, Vampire here back from the video, and today we're going to be bringing you guys another offensive scheme in Madden 22. For today's video, we're going to be running the pistol bunch tight end, which is usually a video that you guys enjoy a lot. I've made it in Madden 20 and in Madden 21. It's usually one of the more kind of solid formations that you see every now and then, but we're going to turn it into a pretty high-powered offense in today's video. Now, I'm in the pistol playbook. It is in a couple of other playbooks. I think Seattle, or at least it used to be. Not exactly sure what other playbooks it is. You can, of course, look that up, but we're in pistol playbook. That's what I'm just doing just because I knew it had it. We're not really going to be rocking with too many abilities other than the tight end apprentice for these setups, so not exactly too many abilities, but there's a lot of very good plays in here. Going into our audibles, we got cross drag, strong power, spot option, and PA curls. You can also run this halfback zone in the middle here instead of the strong power. I like the power a little bit better personally. As far as some of the other things and plays we might run run this play on the right, the fake screen. It's definitely a solid play. You have a couple of other runs like the counter, like the draw, and there's also a wide receiver screen on the left that you can't see that it can be decent, but we're mainly going to focus in on the plays that I think are really good. And without further ado, let's jump straight into it. Alright, so getting out on the field, once again, we're in a bunch tight end formation. Gun bunch tight end is very popular, so if you're a guy that kind of likes off-meta stuff, this can actually be a good little twist. It's a pistol, but there's a lot of new route combinations that we'll create that you can't necessarily do in the gun bunch tight end formation. Some unique plays, and overall it's just cool. Pistol formations are very slept on in Madden. You don't see pistol as much as I think you definitely could or should. A lot of times just using the running game, but you can definitely create some really good passes as well. Now, start out with the strong power. You can run it one of two different ways. The first way to run it, you can just standardly run this to the right side, and your blocks will develop pretty good, which is something that you can't do in the gun bunch tight end. When you're running the gun bunch tight end, you can only run it to the left. Your running back's on your right hip, and you can only run it to that side. You can't flip it. But in the pistol, you can flip these runs to the bunch side if you want, or to this tight end side. It really just depends on how it's developed. Of course, you're going to run a little bit patient even then. We go a little bit premature and we get shedded, so it's important to keep patience when you're running this. But yeah, it's a pretty good run. You can see you can cut it up the middle, pick up 10 yards. We almost pick up 15 with the fall forward. And you want to stay pretty balanced when you're running this pistol. Whereas in the gun bunch, it's a lot of passing. You can definitely stay balanced in this with some of the good runs that there is. Now, if you do flip it to this left side, you should get pretty good blocks as well. Get a lead blocker, kind of cut through. Really, again, it does kind of come down to your wide receivers. If you have bad blocking wide receivers, you're probably going to cut it up the middle. If your wide receivers are able to hold the blocks, that's when you can get to the outside. But you see just the way that they developed right there was absolutely crazy. And, of course, we're using San Francisco, but still very good defensive line in Washington, and we absolutely demolished them with that run. So really good run. I definitely would like the power a little bit better than the zone. That's me personally, but the zone is pretty dang good as well. Just take a look at the blocks, the way that they developed here. And Trent Williams obviously just pancaked and took out two people, so I guess that had a lot to do with it. But even if Trent Williams doesn't, Tomlinson's pulling, so he's going to pick up that linebacker there. We also have Alex Mack, I think, who's number 60. I guess it's not Alex Mack, but even if he doesn't, we still have 20, 25 yards in the bank there. So Trent Williams is a freak at left tackle, but even without it, you see we pick up 20, 25 yards, make a man miss, make another guy miss, and you're off to the races. So very good run. I advise you, a lot of us like to pass the ball. Stay true to this running game. It can definitely be good. The last thing that you can do is, of course, incorporate things like motion. So we can run this to the right, motion over a wide receiver, take care of that corner, and then we can just go ahead, kind of cut this inside. Now, sometimes that actually throws it off. It might move some people to the right side, so see what works. You can, of course, create multiple combinations in this one particular run using different motion. You can motion Debo, just do different things like this. Kind of fake like a jet sweep there. Let the blocks develop a little bit. Kind of a bad block there, but yeah, man, overall, stay balanced, stay true to your run game, and it will definitely pay off for you guys. Now, once again, going into some of these plays, cross drag is one that I'm sure you guys have seen be used. Cross drag is a pretty popular play, and it would not be too out of the ordinary for you to see this play be called. A lot of times when you see this play ran, it's just stock. It's with like a bot, but even if you run this play stock, it's actually really good. A lot of times when lower skill level players are running this formation, they run this play, I have trouble stopping this play stock just because it is so good. As forgets audible there. Whoever that linebacker is a really good job of disengaging, block shedding. But yeah, this play stock is actually not terrible, especially with how slow the user is. A lot of times it'll be clear. You can easily throw one of these drags. If you wait, generally you'll have the user pick between the crosser and the in route, so you can actually kind of wait. Now, in this case, it's going to be the crosser that's a lot more open, but online it's a lot of times the in route because the user is so likely to go ahead and follow that crossing route. So, but of course, this is not the way that we're going to run it. It's not the best way to run it. We'll create a little bit of a better way to run it. And it's going to start out with kind of one of these combinations where you can go with like a little flat, motion over, a little post, crosser, hitch. One of these, and I can put be on a streak instead. Just really doesn't matter. It really depends on what you want. If it were cover 3, that's definitely what I'm going to do. If it's cover 2, I am going to go with a flat. So in this case, we're playing against cover 3. I like to, of course, hitch this outside guy always. So if it's cover 3, I might just streak Travis Benjamin, motion him across. And the motion streaks aren't the best, but they do work. And you see how slow he is. So you almost maybe even want him to get set just because it takes them 20 years to get into the route when you motion snap people. So that is a very good way to run this cross drag play. As far as some of the other things that you can do, and I did not mean to flip that, but if you're one of those guys who runs their bunch tight end, you're a little bit more comfortable with keeping the bunch tight end on the left side, which shouldn't necessarily be the case in pistol because of the rollouts, but there's no PA boot over play, so it shouldn't really matter. Again, I would mainly keep it on that wide side, give you the most space to operate, but you could run it, keep it on the same side if you wanted to. Now, a combination I like a lot is just to go ahead streak A, because you streak A, you're not having any problems. We'll just flat X, wheel the running back. We'll go back to this route a lot. The running back wheel, very, very good. We'll just motion Debo out. So now this wheel route's cover 3. That's absolutely money in the bank. Any pistol formation. I love these wheel routes. The wheel routes are unguardable in this game if you have not caught on as, yet. I don't know when you're ever going to catch on, but they're unguardable. You can't man them up. You can't do anything to really stop them. And overall, just good luck stopping him because you man him up, you can't stop it. Most vert hooks, most hook curls, just you see a hook curl, he's going to follow the crosser, and you just get so much space. Cover 3, cover 2, cover 4, and again, if his zone matches onto it, it's going to beat it. If it's man coverage, you can lowball it, pass lead inside, and it's going to be wide open. So we will go back to that, but just overall really good setups. And here on this play, we can also, let's say he uses RB, we kind of pump fake over there, we can roll out, hit that crosser with Ayuk. We have our drag as well if he is playing super far over the top or he uses it himself, which a lot of times is going to stay in that middle of the field, use the crosser, you're going to throw the wheel route until he starts using it, manning it up, trying to defend it. So that is going to be it for our cross drag setups. Of course, you could maybe go into some other things, some other setups like this, put a little route like this, but with this, it's kind of like a PA boot over, but you need to X on that deeper post, and you can't really do that from the slot. So, not the best setup in my opinion. Alright, that's going to carry us into our next play, which is going to be the spot option. Very good play, very good spacing. You always need kind of one of these plays in your offense, and this is going to do it for us. Now, what we're going to do in this setup is kind of interesting. What I like to do is create a solid base look. What we're going to do is go with a couple of corner routes. Generally, I think this is the setup that I like a lot out of the play. And we're going to motion over this streak route. So this is a setup that I like a lot. You go with X on a streak, drag B, corner route A, and then motion this streak over. I like this setup a lot. Now, the wheel route doesn't get as open, but you see, even without the flat, the wheel route kind of stops so far. Or it stops its cut so far inside. And this is why you want to run it on the wide side, which I don't think it really matters with these wheel routes. They actually go to the wide side every single time, but you generally want it to be on the bunch side so you can do a lot more of these flat combinations. There might be situations where you motion over a receiver, but we'll kind of ignore those because I'm not trying to respot the ball. But this setup is very solid, and you can actually go with this way as well. It doesn't really matter which receiver you streak. We could streak Debo. We could streak Travis Benjamin. Does not really affect the play, but this setup, one of the best in the game. Take a look at the way that the curl flat comes down on that wheel route without the flat. So you can throw it earlier. If you wait a little bit, it will be defended against a stock cover 3, but you also notice that it opened up Brandon Ayuk. I don't know why I called him Brian. Deep on that route. Taking a look at this other side, realistically, if you wanted, we could throw Benjamin on a little out route as well, especially with the motion snap, just how slow it is. That's probably your best bet to actually open up Kittle. If you wanted to completely open him up, you would just let him get set, but nobody really has time for that, do they? I'll show what it looks like just in case, but yeah, man, I feel like this setup is pretty good. It's one of my favorites. You pretty much have everything. You have a little deep streak, 2 corner routes, your inside threat with Samuel and Mitchell, and really it's just going to depend on you just reading the field, seeing what's open. Would have thrown that to Kittle. Of course, without any kind of a flat route, you're kind of waiting a little bit longer for the curl flats if you want to throw it to Kittle to come down on that drag, which is maybe a situation where you go with this combination instead, and I would completely understand. No one could blame you if you did this because you want your drag to get over there a little bit further. So this setup could be better. Kittle's going to open up earlier, but you can also just check it down a little bit quicker, and it shouldn't really have too big of an effect on the play. But I like the drag from Samuel a little bit better personally. You should have enough time for that anyway. Now, as far as some of the other setups that we're going to go to, you guys all know the basic setups, little streak X, just something like this, little flat, little corner out. You have your streak, so just some of the basic combinations. With A, he kind of does whatever he wants. He's on a little bit of a choice route. You see he can either run a post, an out route, or a little curl. We'll kind of just let him do his thing over there. You want to, you're more than happy to motion this guy out just to open up your corner out a little bit more. This flat actually runs really slow, which is actually a good thing, believe it or not. So you kind of want this flat to run a little bit slower, and it does that just to open it up more. As far as some of the other things that you might want to do, you could create certain things like this, where maybe you streak B, can motion him out to this side, and kind of run it like this, where now you have your spot route. But again, those motion streaks out are just not good in this year's game, so that's where maybe, I guess, you can either leave Benjamin on this flat if you wanted to. Maybe we create a setup like this. You can do different things. Something like this could be good. I imagine you would, of course, motion snap Travis Benjamin. So spot option, this spot play has a lot of good combinations that you can go to. And again, we'll motion him out, motion snap him here, and you see he's just running a lot slower. So definitely can throw this up to Mitchell. But overall, just creating some cool different combos, and this is one of them. That's going to take us into our last play, which is going to be the PA curls. I might show that fake screen slightly, just one little setup, but PA curls is a solid play. I actually like having the play action on this particular play. You can actually run this play stock, and it's not going to be too bad. Now, there's one problem that I don't really like, and I don't really like the way that inside route kind of hitch with Ayuk carries into Kittle's route. I don't like the spacing on that too much. Something I actually like to do is create kind of the same thing we did at cross drag. And I'll just create one of these little setups. We'll flat Y, slant B, but all we're doing is keeping the play action. The play action can actually be very helpful, especially if you run the zone a lot more. This is a play action of the zone or the draw, but this is just one of the good spacing concepts, and we'll show some other ones of these, like more curl flat type stuff, but this is a really good setup in the red zone. The play action is an underrated concept this year. The play action does work, but again, you need tight end apprentice for this. Hot route master, a lot of you have, so it could work as well, but kind of throw this to A as well, just over the top, low ball it. You could regular bullet past that as well, and you see pretty much them both open out of this particular PA curl setup. As far as some of the other things I like to do, maybe we go with a little combo like this, where we drag, and then I would maybe motion Benjamin out on his curl, snap it here, you get the play action, and this would just be a solid kind of spacing concept, looking for a quick read. 3rd and 1, get a little something off guard now. Also, again, you could run PA curls plays, but without the play action, you could kind of build around Ayuk's route. It's a little bit tough to build around Ayuk's route when you consider the fact that you have the tight end here, but you could maybe do something like this, and then you get in a situation where, well, what do you really do with B? Maybe you can't really curl him because then he runs into the same area as the wheel route, so it's just kind of a tricky situation. As far as the wheel route goes, you could maybe run a play like this without motioning out that flat, with Deebo Samuel, it still does work, so you don't necessarily need motion. This would be decent spacing, but I just wish that IU kind of stopped in the middle a little bit more. He carries over almost further past that right hash, so it's just something that you can't do much about. But let's go hop into that fake screen play real quick. Last play is going to be fake screen. It's just called fake screen. This play is actually probably the best stock. You have a delay fade, you have a little delay swing route, but this play is just very good in the red zone, I found. Check it down to Deebo. He can pick up like 5 yards very easily with good stick work, which wasn't the case there. He can pick up a little bit more. But another thing I've done for kind of quick red zone plays is actually put Kittle on a trail. This is if you have tight end apprentice, you can kind of pick between them, and a lot of times the user is going to go with the tight end, which should open up B. Now B is a slower angle route. It does go deeper, further than Kittle's, you notice from the play art, so it is going to take a little bit longer to develop, but it definitely can get open up in the middle of the field right there. Now when you have the two trails, you kind of want to throw them earlier because you see they cross paths, making it super easy to user, so that's where maybe we just go with the traditional delay fade. He kind of blocks, and if this is the red zone, which I'm not sure why he actually played a normal delay fade assignment there. That was weird. But in most cases, he's going to block for a couple seconds and then release up the field like he does right there. And because the user recognizes him kind of blocking immediately, he sees you let your quarterback pump fake to that side. He's going to immediately run to the right, and in the red zone, he can throw it. Now, of course, when we know we're kind of inside that 5-yard line, the delay fades kind of run to the outside, so preferably you're a little bit further away so you can get this kind of a delay fade. As far as the wheel route goes, the wheel route, it's not the best. You can kind of fit it in maybe against cover 2, but it is what it is. Wheel route with nothing behind it won't do that good. But definitely can be a solid play. If you wait a little bit longer, you can check this down. I guess not, but just a solid play. We'll throw it in there. You can run in the red zone, can run it on short yard situations, catch people off guard, and also combine it with the regular wide receiver screen. That's going to do for the video. If you enjoyed, drop a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel down below, and peace. I'm out of here.